All right, here we are, EUDL playoffs. This is technically round two of playoffs. Round one, my opponent didn't plan a match with me, so never actually played that, which means you guys unfortunately won't get a video for that. It was my week one opponent though, so kind of already played that guy, and uh, so not super bummed about it. And also, like it was a match that I was feeling pretty confident about, so I'm not like, ooh, thank God I got a bye because you didn't show. Like, no, I felt pretty good. I felt like I'd be able to win that pretty handily. Um, but yeah, so now we got our week two opponent, which is somebody we've already played before. My week six opponent. Um, so I have gone over his team in the week six video, but in case you didn't watch that, I'll go over it again. First things first, he has Raichu, which is really fast for low tier 110. Is really good, and he's faster than my Cryo. Um, then you have high speed and then good attacking stats as well. My goodness. Yeah, good attacking stats, and he also gets good coverage on both sides. Um, you're 9 times out of 10 you're gonna see it gonna be special because right with Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, Surf, Focus Blast, Grass Knot, like really good moves on that side. Like yeah, it gets player off and knock off and that kind of stuff on the physical side, but just it's more common, so a lot of people will build special, and also just because what's it called? Um, Everybody likes to run Volt Switch, and 9 times out of 10, right when you're running Volt Switch, you're kind of in that headspace. Oh, I should go special investment, so my Volt Switch just hit harder. Um, so probably going to be special, but could also very well be physical. Then we got Ditto. I almost lost this thing in week six because I had set up Oricorio, and this thing copied me and took 4 kills. I did basically sack 2 Mons because I forgot Ditto runs Choice Scarf. But it's fine. We still won. No harm, no foul, or something like that. But yeah, it's just Ditto. It does the same thing it does in everything. Comes in with Imposter, usually Choice Scarf. Sometimes you can be like a Resist Berry. Like I've run Chople Ditto. I've run Hiban Ditto. Like you can definitely run Resist Berries in this thing, but more times than not, you're gonna be Choice Scarf. Then we got Double. This thing is usually just like some combination of cotton guard, substitute, body press, and then sometimes like control move like T wave or like rest for longevity. Um, but for some reason this thing gets a volt tackle. Or sorry, wild charge, not volt tackle. Same difference, but it gets a strong physical electric move, which means it actually can hit my Oricorio pretty hard. So I might have to scout for that, especially because the Oricorio walled this thing last week. So there's a chance that he looked into his coverage and found something to find me. So I will have to scout for that a little bit, but I'm still fairly confident that Oricorio is a very good answer to this thing. Um, but yeah, it pretty much it's a body press merchant with Fluffy and Cotton Guard. It gets super fat. Then there's Absol, who has an insane attack stat of 130. Gets Sucker Punch knockoff, like most of the dark type stuff. Also gets Sword Stance, so if it gets a turn to get that off, it can get really scary. But like pretty much my whole team, except for I think 1 or 2 Mons, is faster than it. And as long as we can like take a Sucker Punch, this thing isn't super scary. But it can definitely, if it starts setting up Sword Stances, it can definitely spiral away, and that is not something I want to deal with. Then we have Swanna. Now, this thing is pretty like mid at everything. It's got good speed, 98, but like it's not exactly fast enough to force me to, like run modest or not modest, run like timid on certain things, like that kind of stuff. It's not fast enough to do that, but it is good speed. It is faster than Togedemaru, which like doesn't really matter because it can't touch Togedemaru. Um, like it can click a water move, but Togedemaru eats that and then it dies. So like, but this thing gets like Roost to defog. It does toxic a lot of the time. So, um, but yeah, I'm just gonna try and blow it up with like Cryogonal or Togedemaru or something like that. Then there's Roselia. This thing obviously gets EUDL, and then when you throw that on, its bulk is actually not too bad. Like that's a pretty high SPDEF stat when you add EUDL. Um, Granite Poison gets quite a few hazards. It gets both kinds of spikes. Um, so it can definitely be annoying that way. Also, can always just run like toxic synthesis, that kind of stuff. Still can hit surprisingly hard, like stuff like Leaf Storm, Sludge Bomb. So this thing's actually a very solid mon, but thankfully I have a muck. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about that. Yeah. Then there's Regice. This thing is just fat. Just fat. That's all it does. Yeah, it's gonna, be like Recover, Toxic, Flash Cannon, Ice Beam, or like Thunderbolt, Ice Beam. Usually, like, probably Bolt Beam is very likely to have here, but, you know, yeah, probably Bolt Beam, but like gonna have Toxic Recover pretty much, and just probably just gonna install Mons out, which is again, I have a Muck. Then you have Sableye, who is the prankster asshole that it is in every other league. Encore, Toxic, Will-O-Wisp, Recover, all that stuff gets priority, and if you're not a dark type, which I'm not really planning on bringing the Morgrim, you just get hit by all that. But he doesn't run this thing super bulky. Like when I was looking at Couch, like my Togedemaru was doing like 15% more than it should have last week. If he was like properly defense invested. So that's good news. Also I have Muck. Like I didn't realize like I'm a little surprised that I didn't look at how good Muck was last week. But like a lot of these mons either just like can't hit it or can't toxic it. And that's a really big thing because there's so many mons on this team that want to just click toxic and let you die. Right? And having a poison type is big for that. And then last but not least is Wooper, which is just you have 1 point left, so you pick up something you like. It is a Terra Captain. If it comes, I will eat my shoe. Like, look at this thing stats. It's not doing anything. Maybe Water Absorb, but when you consider that Fion is a Terra Captain and Marshtomp, like, I'm not clicking water moves that often. And even if I am, like, you're getting obliterated. Like, if I'm Terra Grass Fion for some reason, you're immediately dead. Better luck next time. Um, yeah, so that's my opponent's team. We're gonna jump into the team that I built here. It's gonna look pretty similar to last time around. There's a lot of the similar sets here, but obviously with some little tweaks because obviously you don't want to bring the exact same team because your opponent's gonna make adjustments and you don't want to lose. So we have basically the exact same order choreo with a few changes. Number one is we dropped Revelation Dance because realistically I don't need it to hit anything. Like it hits Raichu, but I'm not faster than Raichu, so it doesn't really matter. And plus Raichu, like, it dropped to Marshtomp last time around, and also, like, there's other mons that can really wall it, like Cryogonal. So there's a lot of other mons that get through Raichu, and, like, nothing else resists flying. So I went for dual flying, and that way, if he dittos me, I can go into Rampardos, who will always take a hit, and then he dies. Yes, and then we have the exact same Marshtomp set. I've brought this set so many times before. It worked last week. It OHKO'd the Raichu. It ate the Grassnot super comfortably. So this set did everything it needed to do last week. So I'm going to keep it around. Then we have the same Cryogonal set. Again, pretty standard set, like AV, pretty standard AV stuff. Freeze Dry, obviously, you want for like Swanna, because I didn't bring Togedemaru this week, and I wanted a way to pretty much OHKO that Swanna. And then Knock Off is always super good to have, and then Spin because that Roselia is probably going to come because of how the Marshtomp worked him last week. So it's probably going to come, and just getting that removal is very good, especially this thing has Levitate. It only gets spikes and T-spikes, so it's going to float above that, spin it away. He does have Sableye, so he could spin block, but yeah, it is what it is. And then for the last one for the same set is going to be Rampardos, because he doesn't know I'm Choice Scarfed. He might have been able to assume because I brought it in against the Ditto, but maybe he just thought I was Spadef and thought I would live, or something along those lines. So he doesn't necessarily know that I'm choice scarfed. And he didn't see any of my moves. So he knows nothing about this Rampardo set. Um, so I can bring the same one, no problem. Choice Scarf, and then we just have Edgequake, and then some other moves in case of emergency. Superpower if I'm really struggling to get through this double. And then I think we just do Zen for like Roselia or something. Because yeah, like I could have went like Rock Tomb, but I went for a move that can kill stuff if need be. Then we have a new addition because I've talked about it so much when going through his team. Muck is really good here. Um, we are Toxic and T-Spike, which seems very strange, but the reason I went Toxic is because of Regice. Like, because I think it's very possible this thing comes. I thought it would come last week, but it didn't. But maybe, he sees that, he makes an adjustment. If it doesn't come, like, I probably just don't click Toxic. Or I can probably like, click Toxic on like Sableye or something. Um, but his team is really fat. Like, it's really fat, and sometimes it's hard to break through. And his only removal is Swanna. So, like, even if I put up a T-Spike, if he goes into Swanna, hard switch Cryogonal, and then I just have so much pressure on him. And yeah, right? And then also just like P-Jab, Drain Punch for longevity, right? I can Drain Punch on the Regice or like even on the Absol to get all my health back. Black Sludge, Sticky Hold, so he can't knock me. I thought about going Poison Touch for like what is it, like the 52% chance to poison or something like that, 51, whatever the number is. But I'm like, I don't want to accidentally proc that on like Regice. Like I want, if it's Regice, I want to Toxic it. And the thing about T-Spike is I have to be careful of Roselia, right? Because grounded poison. But if I get the Roselia out of the way, like it's gone, and then my T-Spike will ruin him, which is really nice. And then last but not least, we have Fion. The same moves as last week. Surf, Ice Beam, Terra Fighting, Terra Blast. And then I went for Hydro Pump because I'm not Take Heart anymore. I'm Choice Specs. Because I got rid of the Togedemaru. I wanted a good choice sweeper in the end game if I needed it, or that can also be a breaker mid game. So now I have him and Rampardos. I'm probably gonna lead Rampardos because again he doesn't know that I'm Choice Scarf, and if he leads Raichu again, I can just click EQ. Maybe if I lead it, maybe he thinks it's Scarf, something like that. But even if I click EQ and he goes Swanna, then I can just go like hard Cryogonal and be pretty fine. But yeah, Choice Specs Vione just to hit super hard. We're faster than Absol because max speed double is not a real set. Yeah. And then I don't know if I mentioned, but we are Colbur Berry on Oricorio. I had Colbur last week, but I switched it for Mirror Herb because, or not Mirror Herb, Mental Herb, because I got really worried about Encore on, what's his face, Sableye. But like, I don't really I think that was just me over prepping. And with how much like offensive I have this week, like it's gonna be hard to get that Encore off. So yeah, a pretty similar team to last week. A lot of the same, or not last week, but the last time I played this guy. Um, so pretty similar set, pretty similar Mons, but some different counterplay, some different game plans. To not make myself too predictable, to throw him for a bit of a loop. And yeah, we'll see you in the battle, and hopefully we go to the semis.